Okay, so you want to boost engagement on your TikToks, right?
Hmm.
And you've probably seen all this buzz about pinning comments, haven't you?
Yeah, seems like everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like just pick a comment, pin it to the top.
Right.
But you're smart to dig a little deeper. I mean, there's a real strategy to this,
Yeah.
and it can actually make a big difference in how people engage with your content.
Yeah, for sure. It's more than just, picking your favorite comment or something.
Exactly. So before we dive into all the strategic stuff, let's just back up for a second, make sure everyone's on the same page.
Okay.
What exactly are we talking about when we say pinned comment?
So it's basically that one comment that sits right at the top of your comment section.
Right.
It's the first thing anyone sees when they're scrolling through the comments on your video.
Okay, that makes sense. So why is this pinned comment such a big deal? Like, is it really more than just highlighting a funny comment or something?
It's way more than that. It's like, think of it as setting the stage for the whole conversation around your video.
Oh, okay. Like, it's the first impression.
Yeah, exactly. People are scrolling so fast online, right?
Right.
That first impression, that pinned comment, it can really shape how they see your whole video.
So you're saying it's not just about picking a random comment, it's about choosing one strategically to influence how people engage with your content.
Exactly. Like, let's say you post a makeup tutorial, right?
Okay.
And a bunch of people are all asking about this one specific product you used.
Uh-huh.
Instead of making them dig through all the comments to find the answer, you can pin your response right to the top.
So it's like super easy for them to find the info they need.
Right. They don't have to scroll through all the
They
comments.
don't get lost in a sea of comments.
Exactly. It also shows people that you're engaged and you care about their experience. Plus, it can save you from answering the same question like 100 times.
Right, right. That's smart. Okay, so we've got the first impressions thing down.
Yeah.
What are some other ways a pinned comment can boost engagement? I think I saw one article talking about using them as conversation starters,
Right.
but honestly, I wasn't really sure what they meant by that.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about creating that back and forth with your viewers.
Okay.
Instead of just like broadcasting information, you're getting them talking. Like, imagine you're doing a challenge video.
Okay. Yeah.
You could pin a comment that asks a question about the challenge.
Oh, I see. So instead of just showing them how to do it, you're inviting them to share their experiences or thoughts about it.
Yeah. It makes it more of a conversation. It's not just passive viewing anymore. Or let's say you do a food-related video.
Okay.
You could pin a comment that says something like, "What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?"
Nah.
Suddenly, everyone's sharing their funny food stories.
I get it. It's like you're giving them a prompt, something to jump into the conversation with. Makes way more sense than just pinning a generic follow me comment.
Right. Which actually, that brings up another great point. Using pinned comments as a subtle call to action can be really effective.
Okay.
So, for example, if you just posted a new video, you could pin a comment that says something like, "Head to my page to see part 2."
Ooh, that's clever.
Yeah.
It's not as like in your face as just straight up saying, go watch my other video.
Right. It's way more subtle.
But it still encourages people to check out your other content.
Yeah, and it feels more organic because it's tied to the video they're already watching.
Okay, this all sounds great, but I have to admit, I'm a little intimidated by the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Is it actually easy to pin a comment? Like, I'm not the most tech-savvy person, so I'm picturing myself getting lost in some complicated TikTok menu or something.
Haha, you'd be surprised how simple it is. It's really designed for anyone to use. Literally, all you do is you find the comment you want to pin,
Okay.
you long press it, and a little menu's going to pop up, and it has the option to pin comment. You tap that and you're done.
Seriously. That's it. No, like digging through settings or anything.
It's right there. TikTok made this super user-friendly, and it's just as easy to unpin it.
Okay.
Or if you want to replace it with a different comment.
Oh, okay. That's a relief. I can definitely handle that.
Yeah.
So now that we know pinning comments is like a total breeze,
Right.
let's talk strategy.
Yeah.
It's obviously not as simple as just picking a random comment and calling it a day.
No.
You mentioned something earlier about like a call to action, right? And using pinned comments to kind of subtly promote your other content.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, what makes a pinned comment truly effective?
Yeah, I mean, there's an art to choosing the right comment.
Right.
It's got to be more than just, like, witty or interesting.
Right.
It needs to actually work strategically for your video,
Right.
and for your overall goals. One way I like to think about it is what I call the 3 Cs.
3 C's.
Contextual, compelling, and consistent.
3 C's. I like it. That's catchy, Easy to remember.
Yeah.
Okay, let's break that down a little bit.
Okay.
What do you mean by contextual?
Okay, so a contextual comment is one that's like directly related to the video content.
Okay.
It should make sense based on what people just watched.
Right.
And it should like add to the conversation, not just be some random thing.
So instead of pinning a comment that says, follow me, I should pick one that actually references something from the video.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
a question someone asked or
Yeah.
a joke that's related to the topic.
Yeah, for example, if your video is about like travel tips for a specific city,
Okay.
you could pin a comment from someone asking for hotel recommendations.
Oh. Yeah.
Or if it's like a funny skit about some relatable situation,
Yeah.
pin a comment from someone who had like a similar experience.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. It keeps the focus on the actual video content
Right.
and encourages people to actually engage with it instead of just seeing a generic follow me plea. Okay, what about the second C? Compelling.
So a compelling comment is one that really sparks curiosity,
Okay.
encourages interaction, maybe even evokes some kind of emotional response.
Okay.
It's the kind of comment that makes people want to join in, even if they weren't planning on commenting.
So it's not just about being relevant to the video, it's about choosing something that really grabs people's attention and makes them want to react.
Exactly. Like, think about it this way, right?
Yeah.
You're scrolling through TikTok, and you see this video with a pinned comment that says, "What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you in public?"
Ooh.
Like, wouldn't you at least be tempted to share your own story?
Yeah, I think I would.
Right. Even if you weren't planning on commenting before.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's relatable. And it just makes you want to jump into that conversation.
Oh, exactly.
Okay, so we've got contextual and compelling.
Uh-huh.
Now, what about the last C? Consistent.
Okay, so this one is all about your brand and the kind of vibe you want to create on TikTok.
Okay.
The comment you pin should fit with your brand's personality, the values, that sort of thing,
Gotcha.
the type of community you're trying to build.
So if my brand is all about, like, positivity and empowerment,
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't pin a comment that's super negative or sarcastic, even if it's meant to be funny.
Yeah, exactly. It just sends the wrong message.
Right.
Think of it like the pinned comment is a little window into your brand.
Oh, okay.
You want to make sure you're showing the right side,
Right, right.
And it's not just about the content of the comment, but also the tone and the language you use.
Oh, okay.
Like, if your brand is known for being professional and informative,
Yeah.
you probably don't want a pinned comment that's full of slang or inside jokes that only some people will get.
Right, right.
It's about setting the right tone for your whole comment section.
It's like you're curating the energy of the comments.
Exactly.
We want people to feel welcome and engaged.
Yeah.
And, like, they're part of a community that shares your values.
Exactly.
Okay, this 3Cs framework is super helpful.
Good.
It
Yeah.
gives me, like, a really clear set of criteria to think about when I'm choosing a comment to pin.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm already starting to think about it way more strategically.
That's the goal.
So we've covered the basics, what pinning is,
Right.
how to actually do it,
Yep.
and this whole 3Cs framework for picking effective comments.
Uh-huh.
But like any good strategy guide, I think it's important to also talk about the potential pitfalls.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, what are some common mistakes people make when it comes to pinned comments?
Yeah, good point.
What are some things we should try to avoid doing?
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing to cover.
Yeah, I feel like I've already learned so much about what not to do just from our conversation so far. Like,
Yeah.
no more generic follow me comments for this girl.
Right.
But I'm sure there are other pitfalls out there that aren't quite as obvious, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There are some like subtle mistakes that people make without even realizing it.
Oh,
One of the biggest ones is pinning self-promotional comments, but like without any context.
so it's not just about avoiding the straight up follow me. It's about how you frame any kind of promotional comment.
Exactly. Think about it this way. Would you walk up to someone at a party
Uh,
and immediately start pitching your business?
Probably not.
Right, like without even introducing yourself or having a conversation.
Yeah, that would be super awkward.
It's kind of the same with pinned comments, right? If you just
Yeah.
pin something that says, like, check out my merch,
Right.
or click the link in my bio, without any explanation or connection to the video, it just comes across as spammy.
Yeah, it's not authentic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so how do you promote something effectively with a pinned comment then?
It's all about, like, weaving it naturally into the conversation. So let's say your video is a tutorial on how to, like, make a certain craft, right?
Right.
Instead of just pinning a comment that says, buy my DIY kit, Right.
You could pin a comment from someone who's asking where they can find the materials,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and then you reply to that with a pinned comment and say something like, I put together a kit with everything you need, link in bio.
That's way better.
Yeah.
It feels helpful and relevant because it's actually answering someone's question.
Right, exactly. It's
Yeah.
about providing value, not just pushing your product.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. What other pinning pitfalls should we, watch out for?
Another common one is pinning negative comments,
Ooh.
even if they're, meant to be a joke.
Yeah, I could see how that could backfire.
Yeah.
Sometimes people try to be ironic or edgy
Uh-huh.
by pinning a mean comment,
Right.
but it just doesn't always work,
No, it can create this, negative vibe
Right.
and make people not want to engage with you,
Right.
especially if they're not sure if you're serious or not.
Yeah, it's like you're putting a spotlight on that negativity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if it is a joke, some people just won't get it.
Yeah, that's true. And it might actually encourage more negativity in the comments.
So it's better to, err on the side of caution
Yeah.
and keep things positive,
Yeah, for sure.
even if it means, sacrificing a potentially funny pinned comment.
It definitely. Remember, you're trying to create a space where people feel comfortable sharing.
Right, and connecting with you and each other.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Any other pinning no-nos that we should be aware of?
One last thing I'll mention is just keeping your pinned comments fresh, keeping them up to date.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
It would be kind of confusing if you had a pinned comment about a giveaway
Right.
that ended, months ago.
Exactly. It's important to regularly check your pinned comments
Okay.
and make sure they're still relevant, that they still make sense.
Yeah.
Especially if it's about, a time-sensitive event
Right.
or a promotion. Unpin it once it's over.
It's like, changing the sign in a shop window
Yeah.
to reflect, the latest deals. Keep those pinned comments current and engaging, and your audience will appreciate the effort.
Wow, this has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
Good, I'm glad.
I feel like I went from feeling kind of overwhelmed by the whole idea of pinning comments to actually feeling excited to try out these strategies.
That's awesome.
So to recap for everyone, pinning comments is like this simple but powerful tool, right?
Yeah.
It can boost engagement, shape the conversation, and even help you promote your content. Remember those 3 C's: contextual, compelling, and consistent.
Right.
Don't pin negative comments
Mm-hmm.
or self-promotional ones without any context.
Right.
And most importantly, keep those pinned comments fresh and up to date.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so now I have a question for you before we wrap things up. Think about your most recent video, okay? What comment would be the perfect choice to pin based on what we've talked about today? What impression do you want to make? That's something for all of our listeners to think about too. Thanks for taking the time to break all of this down for me, and for everyone listening, my pleasure. It's been fun. Remember, the power of the pinned comment is in your hands.
Use it wisely. And that's it for this deep dive. Until next time.